Not long to go till we put on our first steam rally, my children. Busy days ahead of us. I've been looking forward to this weekend for years. All those jumble sales and fundraisers are going to pay off.
Honestly, sir, I could really use an overhaul.
Oh, brother. Literally. How do you expect to have an overhaul a whole week before the steam rally?
Oh, they can work wonders in engineering these days, Eves.
I'm looking forward to meeting our star attraction, sir. Never seen a live steam engine before.
It might be a bit out of place, though.
Why's that, Waldo?
A steam locomotive at a traction engine event. You see what I mean?
Road or rail, he's still steam, like you two. Anyway, I need to call Richard Cardio to make the final arrangements on how the locomotive is getting to the site.
It's good that Mr. Cardio wants to help support your event, sir. He sounds like a real friend.
Richard's been good to me for many years. Great minds think alike. I'm told the tank engine is one of his most lively engines.
Can you tell us what his name is now, sir?
I know something you don't, Barry. Wanna guess what it is? Has Joanna met another engine who she considers more attractive than you? Why would I sound excited about that? I was under the impression that you, now not being in Joanna's affections, had come to the logical conclusion that you should be embracing your free spirit instead of wishing to be tied down. Don't be verbose, Barry. Doesn't suit you very much. Alright then, you daft Burke, what is it? I'm going places, that's all. You make a big deal about knowing something I don't, and then don't even tell me what that something is? Come on, Boston. You can tell me. You know I'm trustworthy. Well, you see, the thing is, Barry, you tell one person something privately, and then they tell another person privately, and then we wind up with a situation where everyone knows, and yet nobody knows that everyone knows. It's crazy, isn't it? Don't be verbose, Boston. It doesn't suit you. You've been invited to the Bridget Horn Steam Rally? What?
Gordon Bennett, Boston, you lucky sod.
Boston, I am expecting you to use this weekend wisely. You are representing not just the Appy Valley Railway, but British Railways as well. Take good care of my engine, Tarquin.
Tarquin? His name's Tarquin? Oh, yes, of course, sir. I'll be on my best behaviour, don't you worry.
Have a lovely time at the rally, Boston. Make it a good one.
And make sure you have fun, first and foremost.
I would say don't do anything stupid, but knowing you, there's a better chance of pigs flying.
I knew a tram engine who went to a steam rally. His trailer lost control and ran straight into a fairground ride. The person manning it said that if he'd asked for a garden shed, he'd have consulted his catalogue.
That never happened.
Sure it did, boyo. Heard it first hand. First buffer. First...
Oh, really? What is your source for that outlandish tale, Crawley? Sauce? Well, if it's sauces we're talking about, I'll take ketchup, thank you very much.
Sauce? What nonsense. I never ask you for proof when any of you tell me a story. And your railway has had quite a few, I must say. Are you calling me a liar? I should think that you are.
I never implied that.
But how do you expect me to give you proof? What do you want, a physical or oral record?
Oral records? Oh, come on, that sounds inappropriate. Can't we change the subject?
I know someone who's made a time-travelling machine. He's called H.G. Wells.
I really doubt Crawley's a liar, Barry. Take it from someone who's known him for many years.
For your information, I heard the story from a porter. Just a random porter. I don't remember which station, though. Must have been Nuneaton, because no one on my train had eaten anything that day. Come on! That was a good one!
Fine, I will concede. I know you're not a liar, Crawley. Before I leave, I do have one last question. Have you seen Otto lately, Crawley?
Surprisingly, no, I haven't. I haven't seen Otto in a while, come to think of it. Last I heard anything, he went to take a goods train somewhere across the country.
Now, that is definitely a lie. Otto would never be as useful as that.
He'd be more use as a candlestick. Because he wears a lamp on his top lamp iron. And candlesticks are... Look, you're being a very hard audience, okay?
He knew this day was coming.
Ah, Boston. Looking spick and span, too. How was the trip?
If he didn't land flat on his face, it wasn't worth it.
Waldo, this is a guest. Show some respect.
Beautiful, sir. I got to see the sights I've never seen before. I never knew the canal was that beautiful. I live with engines who dish out those sorts of comments all the time. It doesn't faze me.
If you're sure. I'm Eves.
And I'm her brother Waldo. We get along relatively well, depending on certain variables.
We've heard much about you and your railway.
Sort of hard not to.
Seeing you in the flesh is something else, though.
Am I worse in person?
Is that a trick question?
Oi!
I just want to know one thing. Where did you find this track from?
Your British Railways gave it to us.
Well, that's strange. Mr. Cardio could have let your Mr. Galliers borrow some of our spare track.
Borrowing you was enough of a gamble, Boston.
You sound just like my friend Barry. He's always throwing jibes at me, but we have a certain relationship, you know.
Oh? Well, I mean, I apologise if I've caused any offence. We're all just very anxious for this, our first steam fair. We've all had gatherings in private in the past, but we've got to make a good impression to make this an annual public event, you know?
We're showman's engines. You were built to shun coaches and wagons. We were built for... pleasure.
I see.
Only teasing.
I love entertaining the crowd myself. This event might be a real doddle.
Mr. Galliers will give you the event briefing early in the morning, which is when your supervisor should be arriving. I trust he's a punctual man.
Punctuality is a quality he happens to possess, I think.
As fellow steam engines, it's nice to have a heart-to-heart. Humans don't always understand. They're nice, but well, they're not like us. If you get my drift.
I know many humans I can understand just fine. Ah, well. Enough about you and me. What about the event?
We do have a good laugh getting together and sharing the fun. But this weekend, there's going to be races, can crushing, and we're going to get to go on the road, pulling punters around.
Sounds good. I'd join you if I wasn't tied to my rails.
Oh, well, you never know. Anyway, we need to get to sleep. Busy day ahead of us.
I've not even been here for very long, but I've really appreciated your hospitality tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night, Boston.
And don't let the bedbugs snap your backside.
By the way, make sure you find an ice pack at some point. The fish and chips reek.
This thing makes Joanna's charity brake van rise look like the Cheltenham Spa Express. Aye, sorry Boston, it's all I could find for you. Event seems to be going well so far. I wish Mr. Galliers had borrowed a brake van too. Any would have done. Any brake van, Boston? Yeah, that's a really creative thing you've just said, Supervisor. I've never heard that one before. Huge thanks to everyone who has come to our, hopefully to be, annual Steam Rally today. You'll find the programme for the day's events when you pick up your ticket. Taking place just now, you can see the steamroller preparing for the first can crushing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to make these cans flatter than a train spotter's love life. Ah! Ha ha!
Well, that's just me. Bit of a show-off him, isn't he? Flatter than a train spotter's love life. Who wrote his script?
I expect he hasn't slept for ages. He's been getting his action just right.
Flatter than someone who watches paint drying for a living would have sufficed.
Thanks for the constructive criticism.
I eat cans for breakfast, but thank you very much, thank you. Ha 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 ha.
You must have a pretty strange digestive system. Why do you eat the cans and not what's in them?
I don't know what your name is, but you sound like a slapped buttock.
Oh, really? You're the one that sounds sore where I'm standing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, one of our main attractions today, courtesy of the Appy Valley Railway, is Boston, the steam railway locomotive. Looking sharp and pristine, Boston. He'll be giving rides up and down twice every hour, so don't miss him.
We'll see how sharp you look after I flatten your face, greenhorn.
You ever seen a steam engine after it blows up? Not a pretty sight. Our controller would be very disappointed. Look, I'm sorry if I offended you or anything, but I just think you need better material, that's all. I mean, flatter than a train spotter's love life. You're probably not going to get very far doing that, and that's putting it very nicely. I am just trying to be helpful here, you know. What a strange world I've entered. Traction engine versus traction engine, ladies and gentlemen. Place your bets on who's gonna win. It's gonna be a close call, I'd say. That steamroller seems a bit rough around the edges. He said he was gonna smash my face in. Don't think I trust him very much. The one with the Great Western shirt button logo. You'd think they're a Great Western steamroller, he'd be a bit more respectful to a Great Western engine, eh?
We've met him before. He calls himself the Steamroller. Hard exterior on that one.
What about his interior?
His interior is all metal.
Should have seen that one coming, I suppose. On your mark, get ready. 3, 2, 1, go! Is this a slow race? I was going to say, I've seen turtles go faster than this.
I won!
Gentle competition, ladies and gentlemen, but Waldo is the winner of this race. We'll see who wins on round 2, eh?
Have to be nice to my big brother sometimes, don't I?
You've got it all under control, I can see, Boston.
You could say that.
Just doing a brief check on how the event is going. I'm looking after the organ. How's the shuttles?
Colour of the wagon aside, I'm having a nice time. But seriously, I'm surprised this thing doesn't glow in the dark.
I see what you mean. The turnout's been very nice. We've certainly had the weather for it.
Sir, I'm worried. I think I've made an enemy out of one of the steamrollers. He told me he wants to smash my face in.
Which one?
That one.
Oh, him. But he's tiny.
Yeah, and he can crush oil cans.
Oh, Boston, I wouldn't worry about him. Sounds to me like he has a louder bark than a bite.
If you say so, sir.
You will never guess what I've seen. I saw one of those steam engines on a trailer. They're taking over the roads, I tell you, and they say we're taking over them.
Oh, I know, it's awful.
I tell you, one of these days, one of us road fellows are going to have to take their rails, ambush them or something. You ever see a film called The Tip-Field Thunderbolt?
I don't watch films.
Right, so picture this. There's a scene where a steamroller has like a one-on-one fight with a steam engine, and if that's not cinema, I don't know what is.
I don't care. I don't even. A one-on-one fight. Fisticuffs. I like your thinking.
Most films, they're just movies, right? They're just your average popcorn entertainment, but the Tip-Field Thunderbolt is art. Quite frankly, Tip-Field Thunderbolt, no one has the balls to say it. I'm gonna say it. Best film ever made. I mean, a good close second place is Oh Mr. Porter. But you know what? Tip-Field Thunderbolt is just better. Boom.
I wouldn't be too close if I were you.
Why's that?
To be observed from a safe distance only. Sorry.
I should try something like that on the steam ruler. Speak of the devil. Look, in spite of our previous gripes, I have to say I quite like the name Steam Ruler. It's creative, suits you very well. What are you doing on my track?
All right, Dallas, Chicago, whatever. We are going to give the audience what they want. Fisticuffs. A fierce fight at that. We knock each other out.
The audience wanted to see us fight? I didn't know that. You must have some inside information or something.
I am not moving from this track until we battle. To the death!
You'll be waiting a long time then. Need to buy a sword first. Anyone got a sword at all? Can't have a duel without a sword, eh? Or any other suitable weapon?
No, no weapons. This is weaponless jousting, tank engine. You charge at me, and I charge at you.
Must beat rotting in a scrapyard, I suppose.
Ah, so you are going to fight me? Yes, I thought you might.
Nah, we don't fight where I come from. Well, physically, anyway.
You broken down or something, Steamroller?
Hey, there's a good question. Doesn't he have an actual name?
We've never caught his real name. Just calling him Ruler is good enough. Can't measure anything by him, though.
I've had enough of crushing cans. I need a new challenge. I want to see how truly strong this greenhorn Great Western tank engine really is.
Boston's not going to fight you, Ruler. Leave him be.
Think of the maintenance bills, Ruler. The search for replacement parts, the long cold hours in the shed. Think of that.
You know what, yeah. Yeah, go on. I think I will fight you after all.
Boston?
But think about Mr. Cardio, Boston.
Don't you worry, Eves. I've got a Boston plan. I know what I'm doing.
What does he think he's doing? Making a sacrifice or something?
What's he going to be sacrificing? His buffer beam or his integrity?
What's this, ladies and gentlemen? It would seem the steam engine and the steamroller are going to have a fight. People, I've been memorising the itinerary and I can say for certain this was not on it.
Any final words, Greenhorn?
Why do Mickey and Minnie Mouse look like they're siblings when they're meant to be a couple?
There's no mercy with our... What's going on? I can't see! My vision is impaired!
I say, everyone, anybody up for some battered steamroller and chips?
I'm very sorry, sir. I didn't want it to come to that. I fully understand if I've damaged the reputation of the show or anything, but what else was I to do?
No, I understand, Boston. Couldn't be helped, I suppose. What we're going to do for the lunch stand tomorrow is up in the air, though.
Hopefully in time it'll be yesterday's fish and chips. Sorry. That steamroller wasn't going to back down. I know you told me to ignore him.
You're fortunate it was only the lunch stand, and it was past lunchtime.
I suppose so. Easy fix, I hope?
We might be able to patch it up for tomorrow, but no promises. I have much to do, and I will speak to you soon.
Expertly handled, Boston.
How is the steam ruler?
He survived fine enough. He'll see another day, I'm sure.
Look on the bright side. At least now there'll be no more pong for the rest of the day.
Wow, compared to yesterday, today's been a walk in the park.
Yes, quite, listen, what you did to me yesterday was, out of the ordinary, Boston. Yes. I want to hand down my title. You are now the new steam ruler.
I am?
You've earned my respect.
Does this mean we're going to find out your real name now?
Real name? Oh, yes, my No, I don't have one.
You don't have a real name?
No, only steam ruler. Well, strictly speaking, it's Jonathan Backer C. Steam Ruler, after my owners, but,
In that case, you can keep your steam ruler title.
But, you've earned it. You've proven to be more worthy of it.
I'm a station pilot, not a steam ruler, whatever that is. Anyway, forget titles. I haven't spoken to you since the accident. How were you after I made you lose course?
I am tough. I've got no scratches. Aside from my previous battle scars, which you could see in plain sight.
If you could survive crashing into a fish and chips stand of considerably terrible odour, I think you deserve to keep the title of Steam Ruler, don't you think?
Oh, very well, but can you at least be Steam Ruler the Second? It would ease the conscience on me as I lick my wounds.
Well, I mean, it's not as good as Steam Ruler 1 now, is it?
I have been on the phone to Mr. Cardio, Boston. He knows about the accident.
Crumbs. Now I'm for it.
He was unhappy, but I have explained that it was an accident that wasn't of your own doing, which I'm sure in time you will understand. I would like to thank you all for your work this weekend. I have finally seen one of my longest dreams come to light at long last.
Happy to help, Mr. Galliers. Any time. If you ask me, it was hardly work at all. You mean to tell me you had a fight with a steamroller called the Steam Ruler? Yep. I don't think he saw my smokescreen coming. It was a very successful show. My incident, as unintentional as it was, helped to get the word out. It'll definitely be a yearly thing at this rate.
In that case, you're not going off to the Steam Rally every year from now on, are you?
Oh, absolutely not, Bunker. I've got a railway to run, haven't I? But it was a lot of fun. Remember it like it was yesterday. It was yesterday, you idiot.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Not every day an engine gets to venture away from their rails, I'd say.
I'm sure there's many privately owned engines out there, or any engines in general, who'd jump at the chance to fight a steamroller. I'm sorry. I simply cannot believe that you had a fight with a steamroller. Yes, Barry, as hard as it is to believe, I definitely had a fight with a steamroller. I say, Boston, have you got any oral records of it happening?